Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 42nd meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. We have no meeting minutes to approve today, so we're going to jump straight into our calendars. Calling agenda item number 1, applications number 23-01949-1 through 23-01949-35 inclusive from Queens Waikiki Luau LLC. Yes, please. Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, aloha commissioners, Hannah Garcia, member here from the Queens Waikiki Luau, to request approval for our special liquor license.
Garcia. And if I'm not mistaken, you've done this previously, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And how's that been going?
It's good.
Any issues or complications?
No
or
issues.
Questions or type of action?
Ms. Hannah, how much average people you having per night today or per event?
Yeah, about 80 guests.
And you have an idea of how many underage out of that 80?
It's very minimal, but I would say about maybe like 5%.
Okay. So that space in the middle there for international marketplace working pretty good?
Yes.
I have no other questions.
I move we approve application 23-01949-1 through 35 inclusive.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-01949-1 through 23-01949-35 inclusive are approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 2, applications number 23-01981-1 and 23-01981-2 from Wayward Psalm LLC.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Aubrey Wood, above Wayward Psalm LLC, applying for a special use permit.
And could you just walk us through this request in the series, the wine series?
Yeah, so we're planning a series of Friday evening sort of Tahana events downtown at the Davies Pacific Center. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area, but it's right there on the corner of Merchant and Bishop Street, and it's above the old lawns there. So there's second floor mezzanine area that we're going to use for the events. And it's pretty simple, just beer and some wine and pre-recorded music. We have a good time. So there's 2 entry points to that mezzanine. It is on the second floor. So there's no street side access. It's just there is one stairwell from the street level. And then there's another access point from the inside of the Davies Pacific building. That door actually gets shut and locked at 6 p.m. So after that, the only access will be through the outside stairwell. There'll be a front table sort of near that front stairwell that I'll be serving all the beer and wine from. And then we'll also have a security guard from Securitas that'll be on site watching the premises. And also have a couple of volunteers. It's part of the proceeds are going to go to the Aloha Psalm Foundation, or excuse me, Aloha Wine Foundation, which is a nonprofit. So we're going to have members from their organization also in attendance.
It looks as though it at least contemplated that minors may attend. What's your system for F&B and banding?
I'll be checking all the IDs at the front. All the alcohol will be served at that front desk. I'll be checking all the IDs myself. Sure that we don't have any minors. We don't expect there will be many minors there. It's kind of a higher end wine event, but we do have some of my regular customers that have smaller children that may want to bring them, but it's definitely not marketed towards under 21-year-olds.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any other comments, questions, or type of action?
so the 2 doors, so the 2 entrances, right? So you have a set of doors, it's on the lobby, and you said closes at 6.
Yeah.
And then the other entrance, is that gonna be next to the stairs that run downstairs?
That's the stairwell that goes to the street level. Yeah.
So that's gonna be the other entrance.
That'll be the other entrance. Yeah.
So are you gonna run both entrances till 6?
Yeah, we expect most people to come from the street level.
Okay.
It's a little more, you gotta go up escalators and kind of come back around. So most people will probably access right through that outdoor stairwell.
The stairwell, okay, okay. And so you're gonna be at the bar that's across the event by the
Yeah.
doorway?
Yeah, it's a,
Okay.
you know,
Okay,
15-20 feet,
okay, okay.
easy shot.
So looking at the floor plan, there's a few doorways that come into the space. Is that gonna be for other non-liquor?
Those, yeah, those are actually,
Entities?
those are actually offices.
Okay.
And they're just kind of exterior doors, but
Okay,
those are privately owned or
okay,
leased,
okay,
so
okay,
we don't expect those to be open or
okay,
they'll be going in and out of those.
okay. Because I mean, if you do happen to have somebody that's gonna be doing something in that offices and wanna attend your event, please let them know they gotta come through your
Yeah,
regular openings
Yeah.
and not through their own side doors.
we will, yeah. We'll let them-
Okay.
we'll let them know.
That's all the questions that I have.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-01981-1 through 2.
Second,
There's a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-01981-1 and 23-01981-2 are approved. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 3, applications number 23-02030-1 through 23-02030-30, inclusively from Eastside Associate LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Aaron Munn, attorney for applicant Eastside Bar and Grill. I'm pairing with John Adolfo, general manager of applicant. We've reviewed the investigative report. Have no changes. Just as way, a little background, we have applied for a 90-day trial for live music that's expiring, and that's the reason why we're applying for the special.
And you've been operating presently, correct?
Correct.
so how's it been going so far?
There have been no issues with the live music.
And it's basically coming from the stage portion where you're on your floor plan?
The music is totally. Yes. That's correct. Okay. And it's my understanding the music is all inside the premises.
Okay.
I move we approve application number 23-02030-1 through -30.
Second,
So a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-02030-1 through 23-02030-30 inclusively are approved. I've been calling out of order a related item, calling agenda item number 30, request number 23-02114 from Eastside Associate LLC.
Hi, Commissioners, Aaron Munn representing the applicant. Also with me is John Adolfo. John.
And this is just a related item that reduces the current liquor license to accommodate the special.
Correct.
Right, questions or comments from the commission?
I move we approve request number 23-02114.
second,
Then a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-02114 is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Back into our regular order, calling agenda item number 4, application number 23-02054 from Park Event Services LLC.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Steven Nicoba, representing Park Event Services LLC. This is for the Catch Fire concert, which is going to be occurring June 24th, 2023. It's going to go from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. We have the application going up till 11:59, just so we allow it for cleanup. Any people out? It's 21 and over only. We will have ID checkers at the entrance as well as wristbanding. Security at all entrance points to keep outsiders out, including the HB students. There'll be 42 private security provided by Ring Security, who does pretty much all of our security. We'll also have 10 HPD officers, 3 medics. The capacity currently is set at 5,000, but we've only sold about 2,500 tickets so far. We haven't had any incidents at all. So Do we have any questions? Be happy to answer.
No, I never realized that space held 5,000 people. It seems like a lot.
Yeah. I think they're being ambitious.
Have you had 5,000? No. Okay.
No, not at all.
I thought it was in the warehouse next door.
And I know there was some concern about people drinking too much and being able to leave their cars, and we are gonna allow people to do that as well. So,
Commissioners, any other questions?
Only thing I would say is, I know your thing says 4,500. If you get close to 5, at least let us know. So, because you know what I mean?
yes.
That's a lot more than what we normally see,
No,
right?
we're only at 25.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I know the
Oh, yeah.
approximate list says 4,500, but if you happen to get
Right.
way past that on your ticket sales, at least just let us know.
Certainly,
Says, I don't think we've gotten close to that in any of the events recently,
not at
but
all.
we are coming out of COVID, so.
I live right across the street, so I'll keep an eye.
Oh, okay.
I have no other questions.
I move we approve application number 23-02054.
Second,
There a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02054 is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good show. Calling agenda item number 5, application number 23-02062 from Blessed Lifestyle LLC.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Yamaguchi. This is Lawrence Yamaguchi, both members of Blessed Lifestyle LLC. Basically, our application is just for our second annual golf tournament, charity golf tournament. Second year giving back to the community. We're raising funds to give back for scholarships for those trying to future pursue things in the construction industry. A lot of our applicants right now are college students from UH Manoa. We did go to a college fair, and that's kind of how we market it. So
I see that on the map, the entire golf course, it appears, is the licensed premise. Is there going to be alcohol throughout the golf course, or is it going to be in a specified location?
it will be throughout the golf course. So I guess for this one, the golf course kind of requires that we have this permit just so that we can consume it on the course. And have a cooler at every hole or every other hole, so we can just
And there'll be no minors in attendance?
no minors in it.
Okay, so none of the scholarship
Yeah,
candidates.
correct.
How are you checking ID just upon entrance?
Yes. We can set that up. I think last year I don't think we did. To be honest, but if that's something that's mandatory.
We should have an age verification at some point in the process. Okay.
All the people that are supporting the golf tournament, it's other, it's not minors, it's construction companies that buy the spots. So yeah, it's not really young people playing. It's like construction companies, owners buy the spots, and we do take the funds and we donate it back into the community.
Sorry, to elaborate, we do have a list of all the golfers that are attending.
Okay.
And so we know their age based on that, and we don't expect any, people further than the golfers that have signed up for the tournament.
so the only thing I see right is there was that correction, right? Supplemental, it's 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. versus the original thing said 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. Yeah, so just want to make sure it's 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. is when the tournament will be happening, correct?
Yes, sir.
The only thing I would suggest is, I know we know that most of your golfers will be over age. But if someone somehow does bring their kids with them, we make sure that they're known, right? That hey, they can maybe hang out with you, but let's not have them taking in any, okay? I have no other questions.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-02062.
Second,
A motion is second, any objections or observations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02062 is approved. Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
tournament.
Appreciate it.
Calling agenda item number 6, applications number 23-02076-1 through 23-02076-30 inclusively from Qantas Airways Limited.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the commission, Ms. Uri, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Qantas Airways Limited, present to my right is Carlin Gorai. She is the airport manager. This is for a special liquor license. We have been operating under special liquor license. We have a pending dispenser application, which is on set for preliminary hearing today. We've had no issues since operating with a special license. This is for the club members lounge at the airport.
Commissioners.
So Mr. Yuka, how's it been going?
Going well. I think flights are increasing, getting more busy, but still good. It's the lounge is for members only, so it's really a restricted.
Yeah.
Go in
So is it just Qantas members?
there. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you guys have like an average number every day or every week? You guys look at having varies?
I think it varies based on the flights, but I would say
Okay.
about 50 to 100. Well,
Gotcha. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Move we approve application number 23-02076-1 through 23-02076-30.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-02076-1 through 23-02076-30 inclusively are approved.
great, thank you.
I'm calling out of order a related item, calling agenda item number 16, application number 23-01038 from Qantas Airways Limited.
Robert Uyoka on behalf of Qantas Airways Limited, present for right, Ms. Carlin Gorai. She is the airport manager. We have no changes to investigators report. This is for a dispenser application for the same space, the members club lounge at the Honolulu International Airport.
Mr. Uyoka. Commissioners, any questions, comments, or type of action?
I move we approve application number 23-01038.
second,
It's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01038 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 7, application number 23-02079 from Pools and Catering by Cena Blunt. You have- Calling agenda item number 7. Application number 23-02079. Call in the hallway. He's usually here somewhere.
Yeah.
And just take it at the end of the agenda, I guess.
Yeah, so there's a few for this applicant. We'll take up later in the hearing, agenda items number 7 through 13. So we will hold off on calling those and move on to agenda item number, actually, we're going to call out of order agenda item number 28. Request number 23-00485 from Shamrock Cousins LLC, DBA Bethlehem.
Good afternoon, Commission. All right, Daniel Dolan. Cameron Cousins.
Oh, so I'd like to make an announcement. I work with one of the owners of LIQ. And so this will not interfere with my ability to make a unbiased judgment.
I think it's John.
Ryan Kelly, CG for Layworthy Hawaii.
This looks to be a bit of cleanup work, reducing the premises and updating the floor plan to show alterations that have been completed already in preparation for the lay stand application. Is that correct? Commissioners, any comments, questions, or type of action?
I have no questions.
I move we approve request number 23-02114. Oh, wait. 28, I'm sorry, request number 23-00485.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-00485 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dolan.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, wait, we're gonna do 14 now.
yeah. Well,
I'm out.
Mr. Dolan.
Oh,
is,
okay, he's out. All right, got it.
Calling agenda item number 14, transfer application number 23-00504 from Langworthy Hawaii LLC, DBA The Lay Stands.
Good evening, Chairman Buckley and Commissioners. My name is Zachary Dion. I'm counsel for Labor Hawaii LLC. To my right is Brian Kalei Suji, manager. Labor Hawaii LLC. We reviewed the investigative report. We don't have any questions, as Chairman Buckley acknowledged, which is stated in the report. There have been changes to the premises, which was just approved prior agenda item. So we're ready to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions, comments, or type of action?
I move we approve application number 23-00504.
Second,
There a motion and second, any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Transfer application number 23-00504 is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Commissioners.
We will recall and go back to agenda item number 7, application number 23-02079 for Foods and Catering by Cinnabon Inc. Okay.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Valero, General Manager for Sinublan Catering. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila Alcano.
You just walk us through this private holiday party
Okay.
and tell me what holiday is on June.
Yeah, they postponed this one. Should have been a Christmas party. Easy enough, 120 folks. We have the bar inside for this event. And they are utilizing the whole space outside as well.
Same security as you typically have in system for ID checks.
Yes, we have HPD. Our bartenders are checking ID.
okay, you said the bar was inside, but you're using the whole space, yeah. I have no other questions.
I move we approve application number 23-02079.
Second,
So a motion and second, and the objections, reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02079 is approved. Calling agenda item number 8, application number 23-02080 from Cools and Catering by Cinnabon Inc.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Valero, General Manager for Sinublan Catering, and with me is my event coordinator, Sheila Alcano.
So this looks similar, our first birthday party, 190 in attendance.
Yes, sir. The bar is inside for this one. Yeah, first birthday. So there are going to be a lot of kids. We will be monitoring my staff, the bartenders, and we will have clear cups so we can see what's being dispensed.
Thank you. Commissioners.
I have no question.
We approve application number 23-02080.
Second,
So a motion and a second, and the objections, reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02080 is approved. Calling agenda item number 9, application number 23-02081 from Cools and Catering by Cinnabon Inc.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Valero, General Manager for Foods and Catering by Sinublan. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila Alcano.
Yeah, so this is another first birthday for a slightly more popular child.
For sure. Yeah, it's a bigger event. Our bar is outside this time. And they are utilizing the whole area for football.
Sure.
I move we approve application number 23-02081.
second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02081 is approved. Calling agenda item number 10, application number 23-02082 from Foods and Catering by Cinnabon Inc.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Valero, General Manager for Sinublan Catering. And with me is Sheila Alcano, my event coordinator.
This event is substantially smaller, around 50. Is that correct?
Yes, this is a Filipino JCs. They're with the Chamber of Commerce, I believe. We tried to do this event this year, but they didn't have a lot of attendance. So it's kind of like a social networking type of thing.
Like only outside is licensed? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
just a courtyard this time.
I move we approve application number 23-02082.
second,
A motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02082 is approved. Calling agenda item number 11, application number 23-02083 from Cools and Catering by Cinnabon Inc.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Malero, General Manager for Cruise and Catering by Sinublan. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila O'Connell.
Afternoon. Another first birthday looks like a similar setup to the previous two, is that correct?
Yes, the bar is inside and they are utilizing the ballroom and
And the child never attends these.
they're usually sleeping. They don't even see the birthday.
This is,
I move we approve application number 23-02083.
Second,
a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02083 is approved. Calling agenda item number 12, application number 23-02084 from Cools and Catering by Cinnabon Inc.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sam Malero, General Manager for Sinublan Catering. And with me is my event coordinator, Sheila O'Connell.
You're into graduation. Similar setup with the bar outside, both courtyard and inside license for this application, correct?
Yes. We will have two HPD security as well. And we'll be more vigilant with the graduation event.
Mr. Allura, how did your last set of graduation parties go?
How did
Your last set, didn't you just have a set?
we did? Yes.
Uh,
Wasn't
no.
too bad, yeah.
Okay, I was just imagining the kids trying to sneak in.
No, yeah,
Very different.
no, we could talk with the kids for this one, yeah. They were kind of young, or they were,
High school graduation, not college.
yeah, not college.
We approve.
I only had one thing. I know as we're getting into the graduation ones, right, these are gonna be a little bit larger events. You guys had any kind of discussion with Philcom Center if someone happens to be a little bit had too much to drink, that they might be able to leave their vehicle or anything like that?
Oh, yes, well, pertaining to the fiesta, I have brought it up to our event director at Philcom. We have spoken about, possibly providing Uber. From there, it would just be it's either would be fall under our responsibility because we're hosting. However, since they're leaving the vehicle at Philcom, they're saying that Philcom should be responsible. So we are having that conversation
Main thing is to have the discussion, because as we get closer, graduation parties are going
for
to
sure.
pick up, and looks like you have a pretty eventful 2 weeks ahead of yourself in the first 2 weeks of June. So we just want to make sure, because I'm sure graduations are going to start getting larger in size.
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I had.
I move we approve application number 23-02084.
Second,
Got a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02084 is approved. Calling agenda item number 13, application number 23-02085 from Cools and Catering by Cinnabon.
Commissioners, my name is Sheila O'Connell, I'm the event coordinator for Senior Fine Catering. With me, I have my general manager, Sam Malero. This event is just another graduation party, a little bit more popular with 300 people. Bar is outside, so we will be utilizing the ballroom and the courtyard area. As always, we'll be vigilant in checking IDs, making sure underage drinking is not allowed, as well as using clear cups.
yeah, I just want to make sure we know that that's something we want you guys to keep an eye on as you start getting larger, right? Where you have 300 people, let's try to watch it as best we can, because high school, they're gonna try to get what they go ahead and do what they can,
Yeah.
especially if it's a big party. So,
Yeah.
all right, that's the only question I have.
I move we approve application number 23-02085.
Second,
Got a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-02085 is approved. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 15, application number 22-25074 from Jen Capole LP.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Devin Nicola representing Jen Capole LP. To my right is Conan Paikosa, PAIKROSA. He's the district manager for Jen. And we have no changes to the preliminary.
So on the floor plan, this is all within, right, the shopping center?
Mhm.
So there's no outside seating or anything
No.
like that, correct? And then is there only one? Okay, so is there only the double door front entrance? The one entrance that's on the right hand side, or is there, I also see a door at the very bottom of the floor plan on the right hand side.
We
Is that
see
an
the,
exit?
we see the double doors on the opposite side to the left, there's another single door exit.
Okay, but that's an exit, not gonna be an entrance, correct?
Correct.
And the only other comment I have is I know that there is a few Gen barbecue violations at some of the other locations. The two locations, yeah, so that's, keep a vigilant look at that. Obviously, the more locations you get, the more possibilities you have. So we can keep an eye on that. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
That's the only questions and comments I have.
I move we approve application number 22-2507.
Second,
The motion is second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seen none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-25074 is approved. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Calling agenda item number 17, application number 23-01553 from Mana Kamana LLC, DBA New Kamana.
Kamana Kitchen. And a disclosure, I eat at Kamana Kitchen weekly. But that will not affect my ability to make a decision.
Good afternoon, Chair, members, Commission, Brittany Show, authorization of payment of the applicant. Will receive investigative findings to support of no changes, additions, or comments.
Sure.
yeah. So the only question I have, Mr. Nishik, is, so it does state over here, right, that you guys are gonna need to get some kind of prior submit, what is this, must submit partitions of some of the landlord's consent. Have you guys worked on any of that, or is that still upcoming?
My understanding is that we have taken care of that. We'll
Okay.
provide that to the commission prior to picking up the license. There's no problem with that.
I have no other question.
Move we approve application number 23-01553.
Second,
So a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seen none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01553 is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 18, application number 23-01646 from Enigma LLC. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioner Robin Melch on behalf of the applicant Enigma LLC. And to my right is Eddie Chongson Sataya, TRONGKAMSATAYA, the member of Enigma LLC. We have reviewed the report and there are no amendments or changes.
So this is a temporary in connection with a new application that was filed in March. Is that correct?
Correct.
Commissioners? I have no question.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-01646.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01646 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 19, application number 23-01658 from Shokudo Japanese LLC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Afternoon.
Sorry, this is becoming a habit. Commissioner Steven Koba, representing Shokudo Japanese LLC, doing business as Kamuki Shokudo. To my right is Mr. Ryan Cole, KO. He is the VP of Operations for Diamond Dining.
So this is a temporary license in connection with a transfer
Yes,
of license, is that correct?
transfer is in process right now. We're still waiting on more information from the investigator.
Sure.
I have no questions.
I move we approve application number 23-01658.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objection, reservation, hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01658 is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Doc, just a little bit.
Calling agenda item number 20, application number 23-01702 from ANGP LLC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. To my right is the applicant Garland Pellin. She is present with counsel Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigators.
So you have a new application pending, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
I move we approve application number 23-01702.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01702 is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 21, application number 23-01878 from AXC Service Station LLC.
Commissioners, with respect to this item, we received a communication from the applicant requesting rescheduling to the May 25th meeting. They were unable to attend today.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. May 25th is a acceptable date.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item number 21 is continued to the May 25th calendar hearing. Calling agenda item number 22, application number 23-01967 from Leda Living Corporation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Aaron Munn, attorney for applicant Leda Living Corporation. With me is Takeshi Nishimura, president and owner of the applicant.
So this is a temporary license in connection with a transfer of license application that you filed not too long ago.
That's correct.
Commissioners?
We approve application number 23-01967.
second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01967 is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 23, application number 23-01998 for Summer Rainbow LLC. Good afternoon.
Mr. Chair, commissioners. Sorry, one more after this.
Do you want to chair?
No, right, I can sit right there, but I keep having to pull people's chairs up. Devin Nicoba representing Summer Rainbow LLC, doing business as Hawaii Voice. To my right is Cedric Benigno, Benigno. He's the GM for Hawaii Voice.
Definitely. So this is a temporary license in connection with a new application that you
Yes.
filed. The current license is still active, but will expire on June 30th, so probably no problem there. It'll expire on its own terms.
Yes.
Commissioners?
so. I know we're saying it'll expire on its own terms on the end of June, but there's someone currently in there that's gonna possibly say they want to re-up it?
No, actually, we were attempting to do a transfer, but we ran into some issues with the previous tenant. And so we decided this would probably be a smoother route to just go with a new license.
Okay. Okay, I have no other questions.
I move we approve application number 23-01998.
Second,
Then a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01998 is approved. Thanks very much. Calling agenda item number 24, application number 23-00373 from LP Hawaii Corporation, DBA Club Mellow.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Aaron Munn, attorney for LP Hawaii Corporation. With me is Reina Takaban, president and owner of applicant.
Good afternoon. So this is a stock transfer, 100% stock transfer from Alyssa, the previous owner, to Reina, correct? Yeah. Commissioners?
I have no questions.
I move we approve application number 23-00373.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00373 is approved. Thank you very much. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 25, application number 23-00515 from Club 550 Inc. Good afternoon, Ms. Sanju.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Robin Melch on behalf of the licensee as the authorized representative. We reviewed the report and there are no amendments or changes.
This is a stock transfer. The two previous owners are selling to one new owner, Ms. Kasai.
Yeah.
I have no question.
I move we approve application number 23-00515.
Second,
Then a motion in a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00515 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 26, application number 23-00548 from Haoli Hawia Inc.
Applicant Anthony Groman is present with counsel Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigators report.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. So this is also a stock transfer.
Yes,
Commissioners?
Approve application number 23-0054.
second,
Then a motion in a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00548 is approved.
thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 27, application number 23-00666 from RNG Restaurant Group Inc. Is there anyone here for RNG Restaurant Group Inc? Agenda item number 27. Please call in the hallway. Thank you. And there appears to be no appearance for agenda item number 27. Not many items left to push it to the end of the calendar. That's one remaining. So point of order, Mr. I suppose the option would be to continue it or to consider it abandoned.
I would suggest, I mean, you could take action on it even though there is no one here. Continue, I think you actually could move it to the end of the agenda after adjudications. If you wanted to leave it open that long, or just we'll reschedule for next week.
Okay. It's a fairly straightforward application, so I would hate to have it be abandoned. So my suggestion, I'll ask the commissioners, but my suggestion would be to continue it to see if we can get notice to them and have them show up next week.
Second.
No motion is necessary, so agenda item number 27 will be continued
We'll
to the next
reschedule to next
available
week.
calendar. So calling agenda item number 29, request number.
Oh.
Through the door, last second.
That was a quick continuance. We, yeah,
Recall it.
we'll recall it.
Recall.
Recalling agenda item number 27, application number 23-00666 from RNG Restaurant Group Inc. In the nick of time.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Apologies for the surprise entrance. We have no comments to the investigative report, and Shep apologizes that he could not be here. It is literally dinner prep time at 3660, so he couldn't step away.
No problem. It was very dramatic. Sure.
I have no questions.
23-00666.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00666 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Calling agenda item number 29, request number 23-00576 from Island Distillers Inc.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Aaron Munn, representing Island Distillers Inc. With me is Jared Hupp, Vice President of applicant.
Afternoon. So this is the permanent reduction. You don't need the extra space anymore?
correct, yeah, we're gonna use it for residential space instead.
Thank you. Commissioners?
I have no question.
Right, and we approve request number 23-00576.
Second.
A motion and a second, any objections, or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries. Request number 23-00576 is approved. Thank you very much. Commissioners, may I have a type of action for agenda item number 31?
Motion for adoption of findings of fact, conclusions of law, decision and order for agenda item number 31.
Second.
Then a motion and a second, any objections, or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries. Findings of fact, conclusions of law, decision and order shall be entered for agenda item number 31. Before we move into our adjudication hearings, we will take a 5-minute recess. Yes. Thank you. We are back on the record. Thank you for allowing us to have a brief recess. We will move into our adjudication. Mr. Jacobs.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Daniel Jacob, Deputy Corporation Counsel on behalf of the city and county of Honolulu.
Calling agenda item number 32, LCB 23-0042, Puho Waikiki LLC.
Thank you very much, Chair, Commissioners. I promise this is the last of yours.
Devin Nikoba representing Google. And to my right is Mr. Ben Mirkov, Mirkov. He is the GM for Google. Sitting behind us is Mr. Brian Cole. He is the VP of Operations for Diamond Dining.
Mr. Jacobs, can you please read the charge.
On or about March 23rd, 2023, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee allowed the obstruction, hampering, or interfering with investigations or liquor commission operations in any way, including but not limited to the sounding of alarms, flashing of lights, or use of a public address system or other advance warning, announcing the arrival of commission investigators in violation of Rule 3-84-79.1 of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Mr. Jacoba, how would you like to plead?
We plead no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any objection or observations? Hearing seen none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This is a first time violation. The recommended fine is $1,000. And for the record, the two investigators arrived at the facility, talked to the front doorman. There's an elevator that will take you up to the licensed facility. When the two investigators got on the elevator, there was a third investigator kind of watching, and he approached the front doorman, and the doorman was on the phone alerting someone in the premises that the investigators were on the elevator coming out. Again, this is a first time violation, $1,000.
Any explanation?
Yes, Mr. Mirkov was actually there on the night that the violation was assessed, and he actually had an explanation. The security group that they use is not in-house, it's actually hired. The gentleman who owns it had actually gone through a whole new hiring process. So this person was brand new, had no idea what the processes were. Those items have been addressed, actually. And Mr. Mirkov, I believe, also was mentioning something regarding the gentleman's work there.
Yeah, I mean, the person who was at the doors, it was freshly new, his intentions were just to kind of inform his co-workers that there are two investigators coming out, so to assist them in case they're having questions, I was there on the site. I didn't even know that no one was informed me or any of our staff members that they're coming out. That's normally not the practice that we do, and afterwards, we can assess and have a meeting with the person and the whole lead of the security team, and we kind of discussed about these things, and moving forward, we hope that there won't be any problems or anything similar coming.
So he was actually alerting the security team. He wasn't actually alerting anyone at Google, or because he's the GM and he had no idea what was happening. And whenever the investigators come by, they're always very open. They never stop them. They tell them just come on in and do what you have to do. So there's never been an issue before.
Jacob, this is the first time violation, correct?
I have a question. So the security guys, are they listed on your time cards or are they part of your workforce? I mean, I know you must pay the security team or stuff, right? But are they actual employees of them on their, would they be your employees, considered your employees?
We didn't hire them, we contract them. We do have their time cards in our establishment.
Okay.
So it's kind of how you perceive it, it's a company external that we hired that provides the security, and they normally send us always different people, but we do have their time cards and names always written in the book and all.
Okay. So, Mr. Nikoba, I'm gonna make a motion, wait till the very end, okay? So my motion is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $1,000, but I'm gonna suspend collection of that fine for a period of 1 year. During that 1 year, if your client has another situation that happens exactly like this, that $1,000 will be collectible and any other fine after that. Since you said you cleared it up and it's not gonna happen again.
Thank you. Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seen none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A fine of $1,000 will be imposed for agenda item 32 on the terms and conditions provided in the motion. Calling agenda item number 33, LCV 23-0038, PC Pub Inc.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, TQ, chief of the licensee. Waive reading of the charge and a plea of no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
The motion and a second, any objections, reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, the plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on June 20th, 2022, and the licensee entered into a management operating agreement without first notifying the commission. The recommended fine is of $500. It's a first violation.
Okay, so I need to explain the dynamics of Pearl City Business Plaza. There are 5 bars downstairs. 4 of the 5 bars are actually controlled by the landlord through different entities. One of them is PC Pub. So PC Pub is an entity where the primary officer is Gifford Chang. Gifford Chang is Reuben Wong's nephew. Reuben Wong's family owns the entire building, and ergo they own the different entities that control the licenses. There's only one bar that is not controlled under that scheme. And the reason I know that is because I've done work for both Mr. Chang and Mr. Wong over the years and actually helped them claw back a couple of the licenses. So therefore, 4 of the 5 bars are on management agreements, have always been on management agreements. What happened in this instance was the bookkeeper's office took the license out of safekeeping, then changed the trade name to the bar and did so before the services agreement was presented. Services agreement, I have it, is actually dated June 19th, but should have been signed a lot earlier and should have been presented a lot earlier. So it's unfortunately, the bookkeeper didn't do it in the right sequence. It's probably the best way for me to. So
if I understand that correctly, Mr. Kyuchi, when the license came out of safekeeping, there was a management agreement. It was unexecuted. It was supposed to be executed first.
yes,
It was not. It was
Yeah.
executed subsequently.
yes.
Okay, so, but. In that scenario, though, but the bookkeeper was the person that took it out of safekeeping.
Right.
Bookkeeper, an employee or a.
No, it's our arm's length. It's Melrose Accounting. It's George Yamaguchi's old office. And they use that office because they've always used that office. And it's a pretty efficient office to handle. To handle most licensing matters. And it's actually pretty convenient because I have phone calls with that office at least twice a month. But in this case, you know, honestly, they just dropped the ball. Mr. Wong wasn't happy. If you've ever had to deal with Mr. Wong when he's not happy. But you know, it was a mistake. Made a mistake. They should have, and it's a process that they should know because you know, it's done for 4 of the 5 bars downstairs. That's why I started the explanation by saying how the bars are operating.
Is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item number 30.
Second.
Been a motion and a second, any objections, reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, the fine of $500 will be imposed for agenda item number 33.
Thank you.
Presume a phone call to that office is.
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
Calling agenda item number 34, LCB 23-00444. I'm sorry, excuse me, 23-0044, QK Liquor Services LLC.
Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Period for the licensee. To my right is Nora Ferranda, NORAFORONDA manager for the licensee. Will waive reading of the charge and enter a plea of no contest.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second, any objections, reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, the plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, your recommendation?
This violation occurred December 9th, 2022, when the licensee transferred the license to another person without prior commission approval. This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Mr. Hu, explanations?
That the licensee is QK Services LLC. It's not the seller of the that was involved in this transaction. The seller is PHG Queen K LLC. And as you know, the licensee is QK Services LLC. They're somewhat related entities. So there was a very kind of unusual situation. The parties required that the closing of the leasehold interest sale of the Creek Upland Hotel happen quickly. There was no way for QK Services LLC, the licensee, to transfer the license either by a temporary or otherwise in time. But again, QK Services LLC is a licensee. They weren't the seller. They were not the seller.
They weren't the seller, but yet the license.
The license sells by QK Services LLC. Yeah. But if you look at the investigative report, the assignment and assumption of lease is between PHG Queen K LLC. They held the leasehold interest. And they were the seller, transferring it to this financial products, the buyer.
Chair.
Before we do so, Mr. Jacob, any response to?
No, the assignment was December 9th. The temporary transfer application was filed 4 days later, December 13th. The temporary license was approved subsequently on March 13th, 2022. Or 2023, I apologize.
Yeah, oh, just for.
The commission will delivering. We are back on the record. Thank you for providing us time to deliberate, commissioners.
Thank you, Chair. My motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 34.
Second.
Then a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 34.
Thank you
Very much. Calling agenda item number 35, LCB 23-0043 White Sands owner LLC, DBA White Sands Hotel.
Good afternoon, Chair Buckley and Commissioners Doug Chin and Christina O'Hara. We're here on behalf of the licensee White Sands Liquor. We'd like to waive the reading of the charges for both of the citations and then also enter not guilty pleas. We'd like to contest the citations.
Very much, Mr. Chin. Since it's a denial for charges 1 and 2, we will reschedule this for a contested case hearing on a future date. Is that acceptable? Very much. We have procedural rules that we can read to you now. We will also mail them to the licensee. Would you waive reading of the chart, waiting of the ruling?
We can waive
Reading.
the rules. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So agenda item number 35, charges 1 and 2 will be continued to the next available calendar date for a contested case hearing. Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 36, LCB 22-0152, Copper Lake Golf Course. Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Jim Sweeter. I'm the general manager at Copper Lake.
Good afternoon, Mr. Streeter. This agenda item was continued to today's calendar date for a contested case hearing. Are the parties ready to proceed with the contested case?
Yeah.
Thank you. We see that there are some exhibits that have been uploaded. We have 3 for the defense, 1, defense 2, and defense 3. Looks like there are 3 statements. Are those your 3 exhibits?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any opposition on them? Okay. Defense exhibits 1 through 3 are admitted into evidence. Similarly, prosecution has 1 exhibit, prosecution's exhibit A. Is that all of your exhibits?
That is correct.
Do you have any objection to that exhibit? Okay, exhibits A, prosecution exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Do we have any testimony this evening?
Yes, I'd like to call investigator Chad, pronounce this right, Paola.
Okay, and was that witness disclosed timely?
Correct.
Thank you. Do you have any witnesses?
No, sir.
Okay. So we will have opening statements and then we will proceed to evidence. Are there any questions? Okay, and we'll proceed to the opening statements. Prosecutor, you may.
Thank you, commissioners. The licensee, simply put, is alleged to have been open conducting business without a manager on duty. Testimony today, you'll hear just that. Investigators arrived at the premises, customers were on the scene, they asked for a blue card and no blue card was produced. Thank you.
Opening statement. Go ahead, please.
Just, I guess, submit the witness statements.
The opening statement is an evidence, so anything you say in the opening statement can't be used as evidence. So it's just your opening summary statement.
I really didn't have any prepared, so.
It's okay, no problem. You can get right to the evidence if you want. We go. Okay, we will begin with testimony. Prosecution, could you call your witness?
Yes, I was just practicing on how to say his name. Investigator Chad. It's important that I learn this. I am learning foreign language.
That's with practice. I'm gonna go ahead and swear you in. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Can you please state your name for the record? My name is Chad Ka'ai Kaula. And where are you employed? At the Honolulu Liquor Commission. What is your title? My title is Liquor Control Investigator 2. And what are your duties as a liquor control investigator? My primary duties is to enforce liquor laws and rules in the city and county of Honolulu. Are you familiar with Copper Lake Golf Course, the licensee? Yes. Did you visit their facility on December 2nd, 2022? I did. I was there for a complete base inspection. Complete number 22-1110 for excessive noise. And what time did you arrive? I arrived on Friday, December 2nd, 2022 at approximately 2010 hours. Did you create a written report in regards to this investigation?
Yes, I did.
And who are you with?
I was with LCI Jacob Fears and Manuel Reyes.
Did they also complete reports?
I don't think so.
What did you see when you arrived?
I saw two groups of customers. One group was a male and female golfer. The other group was a male golfer, a female golfer, and two male employees.
How did you know they were employees?
They were wearing light blue polo shirts.
You're familiar with that shirt being an employee?
I was, but I went over there to confirm that they're employees.
Did you speak to one of these employees?
I did.
Who did you speak to?
Well, I spoke with a unidentified male employee with a blue polo shirt, and he directed me to the other male golfer that was there, and they said that he was the manager.
And what did you ask that individual who was represented as a manager?
I asked him if there was any manager with a Honolulu Liquor Commission manager's card.
And what was the response?
He said that he doesn't have a manager's card.
Did you ask if there was anybody else who had a blue card on the premises?
I did.
And what was the response?
He said that there was two event managers, Alban Miyahara and Tracy Wong, who has Honolulu Liquor Commission manager's cards.
Were either of those individuals present during the time of your inspection?
No, they were not.
What did you do upon learning this information? Let me ask, did you issue a violation for it?
I did.
And the violation was for failure to have a blue card?
It was for 3-82-38.9 subsection A, which is licensee and manager in charge of premises.
I have no further questions.
Do you have any questions for the witness, rebuttal question?
Any questions for?
For the witness, rebuttal question for the witness?
No. I just, he wasn't aware that Tracy was in her office. So.
You can get to your argument. Okay. Commissioners, do we have questions for the witness? Let me sit down. Discussion have anything else for the rest?
I was thinking.
We have your written exhibits 1, 2, and 3, so we will read those. You have no other witnesses. Did you have anything to say outside of what the statements say? You don't have to state those again. We'll read those.
I think the statements are pretty clear, so I'd probably just be repeating what was given to me, so.
Okay. So we'll move to a closing argument and then we'll deliberate and look at those exhibits. Prosecution.
Thank you, commissioners. The rule is 3-82-38.9, which reads in relevant part. The licensee shall have a duly registered manager in active charge of the licensed premises during the time the establishment is open for business and licensed to sell serve liquor. That's what we had here. There were customers on the premises of a licensed business who is licensed to sell alcohol. The rule does require that a manager be on duty. I know the licensee has represented that a manager was indeed on duty. However, when investigators showed up that day, they were not able to find that manager. That person wasn't produced for the investigator. Although it's not a violation that's been alleged, I will note that 3-82-38.9 sub G. So the same rule in which the violation was written towards provides that the licensee shall ensure that all managers who are required to register with the commission shall have the manager's certificate of registration for the licensed premises readily available for inspection while on duty at that premises. So again, although the allegation is not that it wasn't readily available, the allegation is that they didn't have one. Had they been following the other rule and made it readily available, then it probably would have been produced in the event it was there. However, we are aware of the declarant statements. That does not overcome the fact that investigators were there asking for a blue card and one was not produced. Therefore, this should be found as a violation. Thank you.
Would you like to provide a closing?
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of Copley Golf Course, but there's a driving range, clubhouse, snack bar, and the golf course.
the only areas that, and I understand the liquor license covers the entire property. But the only areas that do sell liquor is the snack bar and the restaurant, which close typically around, depending on business hours, but I think then it was closed at 5 or 6. Golf operations kind of manages the driving range. Kavai, who was the assistant golf professional who was there that evening, I asked him again, he said there were no customers there. Whether that's, relevant or not. He was not aware of the liquor law because he's a golf pro. Was not even aware that Tracy was still in her office, which is a building just adjacent to the driving range. So she usually works late. We had just started expanding the hours in November as far as operations from COVID and stuff. So I think there was some misunderstanding or not aware. The golf operations were not aware at the time of the blue card manager, law and those types of things. So, I think from my perspective, in the understanding of the golf professional, he was not aware of any of that stuff. So, and he didn't know that Tracy typically will stay late just because of her work hours. But everything's closed. So common sense tells him why should there be someone here? And he didn't know that Tracy typically sticks around kind of because of that. So I think moving forward, if the same situation happened today, we would just make sure the gate was closed at that time when the customers were off the property. So that's the thing that's kind of confusing to me is I've asked Kavai multiple times. He said there were no customers there. That's why they were picking the range and closing everything. We put a gate down so they can't buy range balls after 8 o'clock anyway. So, but I understand the situation. So.
Before we deliberate, do the commissioners have any questions? Mr. Jacob, do you have I know it's in the report somewhere, but do you have handy the time of the incident?
Yeah, as the testimony was 2010 hours. Is when they arrived. Yes.
And did they talk to, who did they talk to again?
They talked to 2 unidentified employees, but then they were directed to a Mr. Sierra, Carreira. That was identified by his driver's license. That was the individual who was asked if there was a registered manager. And that individual represented that there were 2 blue cards. But they usually leave around 6 p.m.
And that was, sorry, the first name Kavai. Yeah. That was the individual that the investigator spoke to.
It's much longer, but I don't want to share another name.
I think we have confirmation of the same individual. More question for you, Mr. Sweeter. 2010, you're saying that they were closed at that point.
Yes.
And your understanding was that there was no.
Yes.
What's your normal closing operations? Is 6 o'clock the normal time they close?
We had just literally extended the hours of the range staying open a little later. It was effective December 1st was when we kind of posted it on the website. And the typical, what happens is the cage where you can buy or range balls closes at, I think it's 8 or 8:30. And then if no one's there, they can't buy any golf or get any range balls. So they start clearing, picking and closing everything down. So
Mr. Speaker, question. So and during that time period, is that the only part of Poplar Golf Course that's open? So there's no eating establishments that are open right now. So just the range,
yes, sir.
just the range portion.
Yeah, we're hoping to get that open.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good. I guess a question then I would have is, so I know your golf pro said that no employees, no customers were there. But were any of your employees that were off the clock not in uniform? Do you know if there was any of them there?
He said there were not. I know that there was Chris and then I think the gal, I forget her name, were the two employees. And then Kavai was there, so.
Okay.
So no, it doesn't help our case, but Kavai had just punched out and was just hitting some golf balls, but so technically he was a customer because he was off the clock, but he was still there, so.
Mr. Jacob, just to confirm, I can go back on the testimony, but the testimony was that there were two groups.
Yeah, the report provides that two groups of golfers. One group consisted of a female golfer and a male golfer, and the second group consisted of a female golfer, a male golfer, and two male employees dressed in their light blue polo shirts.
Thanks. We are back on the record. Thank you for allowing us time to deliberate. Commissioners, do we have any type of action?
Yes, Chair. My motion will be to find the charges sustained.
Is there a second? There's no second, the motion fails. Commissioners, is there any other motion?
I move that we find the charges not suspended.
Is there a second? There is no second, the motion fails. Point of order. We have no motion to act upon. Yes. Okay, agenda item number 36 is dismissed. Thank you. Okay, moving into other business, calling agenda item number 37, liquor administrator, administrative matters, Mr. Wright.
I don't have anything further.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. If there's any questions, Mr. Wright? Nope. Okay, hearing none,